All right. So let me just grab my notes here. All right. So some of you have clearly heard about this. I know that a few people have scooped me with videos just because I decided to wait until the live stream to talk about it. What I'm talking about is, so you remember a while back there was some people that made this event called D&D in a Castle, which is to say that it was a real castle, obviously a modern day, a real castle in the modern day, and the idea was you paid thousands of dollars to travel to this castle and play a D&D session inside the castle. And a lot of people who had been involved in it apparently ended up feeling like it was a ripoff. And I believe there were some, geez, who was it? Was it Ginny D or something? There was a couple of YouTube celebrities, like 5e celebrities, that got involved in this, right? And they took a lot of flack for it, because it was, for whatever reason, considered some kind of ripoff. I don't remember why, but the same people are now doing a new project that they call Dungeon Master University. And this is actually going to happen in Georgia in January of 2026, and they're now taking sales for it, and it is booked as a conference-style retreat focused entirely on the art of dungeon mastery. Registration includes all meals on site, enrollment in one primary course, and access to unlimited seminars targeting a wide array of fields and experience levels so that all participants can challenge themselves and grow in their abilities as a dungeon master. So what do you get? The primary course runs for 2 hours each morning and afternoon for a total of 8 hours of instructional time. Seminars are 45 minutes and are offered throughout both days of the event. Game lab takes place in the evening. It allows students to run a game of D&D for one of our faculty dungeon masters and receive their feedback. Students can also sign up for office hours with our faculty. Okay. For a half-hour one-on-one questions and answers, offering a deeper dive into your questions and explorations as a dungeon master. The DMU takes place in Atlanta at Oglethorpe University with accommodations at the JWC Marriott at Lenox. Then there's the registration thing. And, it sounds kind of like a convention or something that's better organized. So, let's see how much it costs. Oh, there are different tiers of registration. So if you want the complete package, that's the platinum tier registration. It costs $2,250. If you can't afford that, there's good news. You could get the standard, the gold tier registration, which costs $1,500 US. And if you're too poor for that, you can slum it with the silver tier registration, which only costs $995. Okay, so what do you get for these? If you get the silver tier, you end up getting one course, access to seminars, meals on site during event days, train tickets from the hotel to the university, and access to the evening game labs on a space available basis. If you pick the gold tier, you get the above plus premium access to watching the game labs, one office hour appointment, that's a half hour with one of the faculty members, admission to the VIP welcome reception, and a welcome gift pack, which includes the official Dungeon Master University backpack, which they claim has a $250 value. That's got to be a hell of a backpack. Okay, this is my bag. It's my magical mystical bag that I've had since 2017. It's a Swiss bag apparently that I bought Actually, I bought this in Seattle. Yeah, I bought it during one of my trips to Seattle. And it cost me $50 US. That's a hell of a bag. I cannot imagine a backpack that's worth $250 better have a jetpack in it or something, you know? Anyway. The platinum tier registration includes everything in the silver and gold. Plus, you get a one office hour appointment with premium access to office hour sign-up. So you get first choice on signing up for one specific 30-minute session with one specific faculty member. That doesn't sound as good as it seems at the beginning. A game, and then here's the big thing that you get as a platinum member. You get a game audit. You get to run one of the game labs. Now, one of the game labs is that you're going to DM, and one or more of the celebrities and experts who are running these courses are going to sit in your game and play in it. And then after that, they will advise you in a professional manner with coaching about what you did right and wrong, you know. And then you will also be given a limited edition Dungeon Master University varsity jacket. Its value is $175, and it guarantees that you will be stuffed into a locker. So, yeah, this is just demented from the start, right? But the terrifying thing here is that that they're expecting that there are people who are going to pay for this, and they might not be wrong, you know, because that's at this point in time, you know, at this moment. I mean, if they had done this a year earlier, definitely like a year and a half or 2 years earlier, I think that they probably would have sold out, right, for sure, because that was like the peak of the fad popularity of D&D. They have to be targeting. I mean, I cannot imagine someone who watches this channel that would think this would be worth shit, right? Like that would be worth anything at all, right? But there are probably a lot of people who are into fad D&D, right? That were playing D&D at the peak of its public popularity, that have no idea about things like the OSR. They'd have no idea that there are like channels on DMing and game design, like the, you know, the whole topic section I have in my games, in my YouTube on that. You know, they have no idea that those things are there, right? And so they will be starstruck by the names of some of their favorite YouTubers doing stuff, right? So there are 4 primary courses in this, right? Hang on one second. I just want to check to see if people have said anything. DM University, aka Build a Better Railroad. No thanks, says Dice Tales. Josh Pierce says, I mean, these sound like U.S. university tuition rates, so on brand. Yeah, except that if you take a course in a U.S. university, that course is usually going to be like at least 30 hours or something like that. You know, like it's going to be a semester long, right? So this is still a ripoff, even by university standards, right? Adino the S9 says, this is how WotC is expanding the brand. Well, these guys aren't WotC specific, but apparently they have like permission from the Wizards of the Coast to use the D&D trademark or whatever, the term, which I'm sure they must have paid for or something. Josh Peters says the backpack better have no encumbrance. Yeah. Tabletop Scholar says, is there a link to this? Yeah, they have it's I don't know if you do a Google search for Dungeon Master University, you'll see it, but I'm going to continue to describe it here in a second, so don't go away. Let's see here. Isaac Mark says, where can I find a list of RPG channels you recommend? Well, it depends what I would recommend them for. Right? For how to Dungeon Master, I would suggest that you take a look at my YouTube playlist that has been called They Taught You to Play D&D Wrong on Purpose. Right? And there you're going to find a ton of stuff that is guidance in how to design a game, how to run a game, how to play in a game, etc. Right? That's where I would start. There are some other people that have good DMing advice, but not very consistently, which is part of the problem where you get like weirdos like the Bro SR occupying some of that void, right? But yeah, the main thing I suggest is take a look at my own playlist, because that's one of the things I specialize on, right? Wayne Brack says, for those prices, the room should come with unlimited free booze and gratuities that might be considered illegal in most places. Damn right. The Zatrin says, I just got here. The DM University thing sounds like a nightmare. Yeah. Well, you missed a lot of good stuff before you came in, Zatrin. We were talking a lot of questions and answers, but this is the only main topic we've gotten to, and it's the only one I have planned for tonight. But after I'm done with it, there'll be more opportunities if people want to ask questions for me about the Last Vikings or about any of my other products. And I'll remind, because now there's some new people that have come in. Hello, can you see me? Jesus Christ. I have no idea what happened. Can you hear me? Damn, that's terrible. We've lost half of the crew. Everybody post on your socials and tell everybody that I'm back. I'm really sorry about that. For whatever reason, my webcam just spontaneously died, and I couldn't figure out how to get it working. I tried to put it on a different slot, and that didn't seem to work. But then I saw there was an option to reconnect, and I did that, and it worked. And I don't know why it happened, but there we are. Okay. Anyways, it's not a big deal. What is a big deal is that I've lost a lot of the people there. I'm going to just do a quick post to X telling people that if they were watching my stream, I am back now. Give me 1 sec here, guys. Hopefully people will start. Oh, there's people returning already. Great. Okay, that's good. That's good. We're getting people back. That is so terrible when that sort of thing happens. Such a shame. Let me see here. Had a slight glitch, but I'm back on now. So if you've been watching, come see me. Back. And if you haven't been watching, come see me now. We're talking about the ridiculous Dungeon Master University. There we go. All right. Anyway, spread the word if you can. Let people know I'm back on. Oh, we're up to 30 already. That's great. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I'm very sorry about that. Don't know how it happened, but this is the first time I've used this new version of the YouTube studio. Because usually when I do the Pundit encounter, I go on Streamlabs for that, because that lets me do it, the interview with another person. But yeah. There we go. Give me 1 more second while people are coming in. I'm just going to refill my ice here. I'm going to take advantage of the brief interruption, and I'll be right with you guys. Okay. All right, I am back. It is never a dull moment when I do a live stream, because I never know what I'm doing. I have no idea if it was my fault that the thing died, or if it was just coincidence, or if it was a technical problem. But it seems to be working all right now. Okay, so let's see here. Everybody's back with the tea. Excellent. Dracorion says, "Oh, Atlanta, prepare to be mugged." That's not unlikely, I suppose. Right, so let us take a look at who are the great experts that are teaching these courses and what those courses are. Excuse me one sec. All right. So the first of these four foundational courses, of which you can only take one, remember, you have to pick. The first one is called Skill Building. It says, this foundational course delivers a firm grounding in the essential skills required to run engaging, balanced, and collaborative Dungeons & Dragons sessions. Already a big problem with that last word, isn't it? Not sessions, I mean collaborative. Right? Emphasis on table management and player engagement, equipping DMs to run faster, more exciting combat encounters, handle unexpected player choices on the fly, and deepen their understanding of the D&D action economy. Drawing on principles of creative storytelling, fair adjudication, and real-time problem solving, this course empowers dungeon masters to lead with confidence, creativity, and a strong sense of collaborative storytelling. In other words, you are paying up anywhere from $995 up to $2,250 to be taught how to DM D&D wrong. You're being told to involve your players, let them help design the story with you, and collaborative storytelling, and you know, it's going to be terrible, right? It's going to be absolutely terrible. Who's in charge? Who are the professors of the skill building course? Well, the skill building course, the professors are B. Dave Walters and Mike Tinney, those legendary figures in D&D. I'm sure you all know them, right? B. Dave Walters and Mike Tinney. So just in case you don't know, B. Dave Walters has apparently written some D&D comic books for IDW, which means it's woke. He is the host of a podcast called Ask Your Black Geek Friend. And he is a founding member of something called the Uncommon Trust. He is the lead designer of the Motherlands RPG. What is the Motherlands RPG? Well, it's actually Into the Motherlands. And that is an RPG that is, its promotional title is Into the Motherlands, A Brighter, Blacker Future. It is a sci-fi odyssey founded and supported by Twitch, developed by a fantastic team of POC RPG designers. It is an Afro-futurist RPG. It's future Wakanda. That is the guy who's supposed to teach you how to DM. But wait, maybe there's Mike Tinney. What about him? Do you guys know who Mike Tinney is? So Mike Tinney is a person who spent some time working as the line manager for White Wolf's Mind's Eye Theater, which I believe is for like live role playing, right? He did some occasional work as a contributor, for example, to the creature collection for White Wolf Sword and Sorcery. Tinney was briefly president of White Wolf at the time when White Wolf started going broke, which makes sense. He was involved in the Street Fighter storytelling game. So this is a guy who has spent his entire career involved in stuff that is not D&D. However, to his benefit, he's never written an Afro-futurist RPG. So those are the experts that are supposed to teach you the skills of how to DM. And we know from just how they described it, if not who the people are that are teaching it, that it is going to leave you less capable than when you came in, right? It's the opposite. Everything that they're talking about there is the opposite of how I would tell you to DM. And I'm a very successful DM. My Last Sun campaign proves that. And if you want to see examples of that, and I mean, my Last Sun campaign, by the way, is the least serious campaign I've ever run. It also is the longest running one, so that's something. But if you want proof of my DMing and the capability of my DMing, check out the fact that I run a game for like 5 to 8 people every 2 weeks, except today. And it is recorded. The audio of it is recorded and put up by one of my players, Bill the Elf, on the Bill the Elf channel. You can go and listen to audio recordings of us running this Gonzo campaign, which is hilarious, at least to those of us playing it. But we do have some people have watched every episode. Not a lot, you know. I think he only gets like 30 views every video, but there are some people that are like loving it, right? And that comment on it and stuff like that. You've probably seen that sometimes if you read the comments to my video when someone says, "Have you killed the cat boy yet?" or stuff like that, or "Oh, Sammy needs her comeuppance," you know, like all of these the player characters, the characters that they have are, a lot of them are pretty awful people, basically, you know, because it's that kind of, you know, kind of like, think of the Venture Brothers. That sort of, they're flawed. They're all flawed people in the game, right? And so everybody has their favorite guy to hate. But yeah, you can see, you know, that would probably be a better example. Listening to those would probably be better for you than taking this this course. So the second course is world building, and I will point out, this is a spoiler alert, but here you are. This is the only one of the 4 courses that actually has people that at least to some degree can claim to have certain talent, and including in the subject that they're dealing with, world building. Because in this case, the 2 guys doing the instruction, now again, neither of them are as good as people think they are, but they're unquestionably professionals, let's put it that way. Keith Baker and Monty Cook. Sadly, this tells me Monty Cook desperately needs money, right? Numenera must not be doing very well, you know, like he needs to build a new world's largest dungeon or something. This course equips dungeon masters with the tools to create rich, dynamic worlds that elevate player immersion and deliver narrative depth. Okay, one good, one bad. Through guided instruction and collaborative exercises, DMs will learn to develop engaging settings complete with history, geography, culture, politics, religions, and magical systems. Emphasis is on designing worlds that support long-term campaign play, heroic fantasy themes, and player agency while maintaining consistency and eternal logic. All of that is mostly sensible. Now, there are better and worse ways to do it. There are some terrible ways to do it. Some of the things that both Baker and Monty Cook do are different from how I would do it. But again, they're not going to be terrible at being able to give some hints on some of these things, right? Students will explore methods for introducing complexity and sharing information without overwhelming players. That's a very important thing, right? The way you do it. And I don't know how they would do it, probably with a lot of like freeze scene exposition, right? I prefer to do it by showing people rather than telling them, right? Like, okay, you're in this place, and you're in the wine cellar or the beer cellar, and somebody is telling you about these salt mines that are nearby and this monster of the mines, right? And then you ask what's that about, and they're like, oh well, there was this king, you know, who dug into these mines that are near the Salt Road, and this chief or something who did that, and it turns out there's a terrible monster in it, and it's a man-devouring monster. This sort of thing, and it dates back to this, and there's this legendary sword, whatever, right? But it's happening in actual, you know, it's happening to the player characters, not to the players, that they're getting that exposition. Or similarly, you could say, well, you know, you see this banner, right? Okay, do a court roll check if you've got the court skill, and you can recognize the heraldry, right? Oh, and that is from the house Liliwa, and they're one of the most powerful houses in the south of the Vistula region. They were pagans up until the point where they made an alliance with Boleslav the Brave and switched to Christianity to help wipe out their enemies. And because of that, they've then become the undisputed rulers of the area known as the Thornlands. Their symbol is the six-pointed star with the half-moon crescent below it, because in the ancient times of the clan, there was a battle that they fought for a full day and night, That sort of thing, right? So then you know about these guys, okay, and then the DM is telling you what your character already knows. That's how I would do it. They might do it differently. Balancing detail with usability, yeah. Where the balance there should always be towards usability, right? You can give details of, oh, this thing happened 1,000 years ago, but that better be as quick as you do it, right? Because there's no point in telling this huge story unless that story, the parts of that story are going to directly affect the players in the present. That's the only part that should really be elaborated otherwise, you know. If not, you have to say it quick, right? And then the stuff that is the detail that you can go into lots of detail about is stuff that is going to be immediate to the players, stuff that they should know already, like that their characters should already know. You have to be sure they know that really well. Like, how do you behave in court, right? If you're in a noble court, or, you know, what is expected of you in the feast days, right? Those are things that every character should know. And so so a player won't just break it because he was never told that, right? So the present has to be detailed better than the past. And weaving world lore organically into gameplay. Okay, that's good. Whether creating a single city or an entire plane of existence, this course provides the creative structure and practical guidance to help DMs build vibrant living worlds for their long-term campaigns. So that is the only one of these courses that I would like even probably consider recommending to anyone. Like, I can't imagine any of the other ones being good. The next one is campaign building. And this course provides dungeon masters with comprehensive frameworks for designing and managing memorable and exciting long-form Dungeons & Dragons campaigns. Emphasizing narrative structure, the course focuses on 4 key pillars: meta-narrative construction, faction and NPC development, campaign placing, and the integration of player agency. That does kind of sound okay, doesn't it? But then they fuck it up completely. DM will learn to craft compelling long-term story arcs, maintain narrative consistency along sessions, and create dynamic factions and NPCs that evolve in response to player choices. Practical tools and guided workshops help DMs structure campaigns that are emotionally engaging, narratively coherent, and responsive to emergent gameplay. That's what we're being told here. Good Lord. I mean, Jesus. And who are the people that are doing this one? Well, again, people that you undoubtedly know, like by heart now. Kelly Lynn D'Angelo. And Amanda Heyman. So Kelly Lynn D'Angelo is listed as a comedian, musical animation, and fantasy writer based out of Los Angeles. She writes stage musicals and plays Dungeons and Dragons professionally. And that's pretty much what we can get out of her, I think. You see if I can get her resume here, because I find that really remarkable. If we could get her resume going here. No, apparently not. She did not post a resume. But she is promoting this on her own ridiculous homepage, webpage that looks like it's from the early 2000s. Let's see what the biography in here says. So she was involved in the original D&D in a Castle event as a dungeon master. She is a television, book, musical, and TTRPG writer. Recent credits include Amazon's Critical Role, Legends of Vox Machina, TBS's Miracle Workers, Adult Swim's Final Space, and Dungeons & Dragons Candlekeep Mysteries. She has been a professional GM since 2015. Her credits include dungeon mastering for Dungeons & Dragons Girls Guts Glory, being game master for Geek and Sundry's Tales from the Loop, and a player in Sirens of the Realms. She has participated in several D&D live events as Dungeon Master and player, as well as D&D celebration specials. So that is this person, Kelly Lynn D'Angelo, whose name I'd already forgotten. So there we go. And the other one is Amanda Heyman. Let's see what we have about her. Amanda Heyman is a senior designer working in Dungeons & Dragons at Wizards of the Coast. I wonder what her actual position is in Wizards of the Coast. Let's try and take a look at that. Because I've certainly never heard of it. Oh, look at her X page. We've got Amanda Heyman, senior designer, Wizards D&D. Design lead on Vecna, Eve of Ruin. Co-creator of the Starfinder RPG by Paizo. She, her, by Rainbow Flag, Black Lives Matter, WotC staff. I guess that tells you everything you need to know about Amanda Heyman. Oh, she was a former editorial director at Kobold Press. That doesn't speak well of Kobold Press, does it? Might as well just call it Critical Role for Plebs. You'll all die on. Professional DM is complete nonsense. Well, professional DM is, in theory, someone who gets paid to DM, and there are some people that do that. Now, whether it's something that one can actually qualify for, or that one can quantify the value of someone's professionalism at being a DM, that's a whole other story. But also, it is, my position has always been that professional DMing, it alters the nature of the game, right? In a way that means that you're doing something, it changes the relationship. If the people who are playing are the people who are paying you, or if someone else is paying you and expecting it to be done for a particular purpose, in both cases, it means you do not anymore have the control over the game. And controlling the game is part of the essential feature of a dungeon master, right? He has to be the one that gets to decide what happens, not the players, not some other guy who's giving you money, right? Or else you failed as a DM. So yeah. Wayne Brack says, one of the witches ruining my hobby. Oh yeah, before I got cut off, I was trying to tell people, and once again, now there's 34 of you. I don't know if it's the same 34 people before my webcam mysteriously died, but what I was trying to say was that this live stream is not monetized at the moment. So if you want to give a super chat, then you're very welcome to do so. As you can see, I don't only read super chats. I'll read comments from the general population. But if you do a super chat, I'll definitely read it out loud, unless it's something that will get me banned from YouTube. Right? And money from my super chat goes to the Domino Fund to buy her cat toys and pay off her. It actually wasn't that expensive, but to pay off her spaying and her chipping. So there you go. She's finally on my lap now, which is nice. All right. Yeah, Isaac Mark says, how do you preserve the simulation in paid DMing? That's about right. So that's the campaign building section. And it sounds absolutely terrible, both by the people who are in charge of it and the fact that they're talking about long-term story arcs, you know. And then the last one is career building. This course is designed for dungeon masters looking to turn their passion for D&D into a sizable and sustainable creative career. Students will learn from industry professionals how to design, refine, and publish original content, from adventures and campaign settings to supplemental materials, while developing marketing and business knowledge needed to succeed in the gaming industry. Topic includes self-publishing strategies, running games for hire, content monetization, and building authentic online presence through streaming, podcasting, community engaging, and professional networking. Emphasis is also placed on collaboration with publishers and licensing partners, navigating contrasts, and managing freelance logistics such as rate, invoicing, and intellectual property rights. Ideal for aspiring professional DMs, writers, and designers. This course provides a practical roadmap for transforming game mastery into creative entrepreneurship. So this sounds like, to some degree, it might make sense. Like, presumably the people who are going to be teaching this are people who do have sufficient expertise to become at least semi-famous professionals in the hobby or something like that, right? And certainly some of these are things that are not intuitive for a game designer, for example, to know, but I don't see how it fits in the context of DMing. Not every DM is set out to be a game designer. I've played with some incredible DMs that do really great DMing, but they couldn't write a book to save their life, right? And I've also seen guys who make books, right, who write good RPG products, but who are not really that good at DMing, but they're good at putting together a set of rules, right? Like game design and DMing are two completely different fields. They may overlap. Like I think I'm a very good DM, and the fact that I always have a waiting list for my games kind of proves that. And I also think I know from the proof of the fact that I'm making a living off it that my game designing is good. But those are not the same set of skills. It's a totally different set of skills that you need to DM, right? Like you could be a game designer who could write a very coherent, good game, who could write, excellent setting content. But maybe, you're not very good at bringing it to life, right? That is possible. And similarly, you could be a guy who's like a fantastic DM, but is really bad at writing and putting those thoughts into a collected whole, Spaces, $20. Thank you so much, Spaces, for the Domino's Fund. If she's awake, please hold her up. She's actually sleeping. If you missed the beginning, at the beginning she was climbing all along my shelf there, threatening to throw everything to the ground. So you have to rewatch the start of this live stream to see some domino action. So I don't want to lift her up while she's asleep. She might wake up later. If she does, I will. If we're still streaming and you're still here, I will raise her up in honor of your $20 if she wakes up. Curry Scott says, "Hey, Pundit and all." All right, so that's the career building section. Let's see who is actually doing the teaching here, right? So we have Clint McElroy is the first one mentioned. Not a name I immediately recognize. Clint McElroy has fooled numerous bosses into providing him with a 45-year career in broadcasting. Okay, don't see what that has much to do with either the career of professional DMing or game design. He has fathered 3 children, and when it comes to bringing new life into this world, is pretty sure the barn door is shut behind that horse. He co-hosts The Adventure Zone with his sons, which has been adapted into a New York Times graphic novel series 6 times over, and has written comics for Marvel, such as Journey into Mystery and Marvel Team Up. So retired life has been going pretty well so far. So Clint apparently is one of the professional DMs in the stable of D&D in a Castle. Not a lot there. Like, okay, yeah, he's broadcasting is not really a thing, but he has apparently managed to convert a campaign that he obviously produced, published, televised somewhere, and that ended up, becoming a comic book or something like that. So I guess technically he's marginally applicable to this. He also sounds like his teaching style is going to be telling a bunch of stories about his grandkids and not really getting anywhere. He's going to tell you about how back then he tied an onion to his belt, which was the style at the time, So whatever, okay. Next one is Eliza Teague, who in her bio appears to be dressed in a fur coat, a peasant handkerchief over her headscarf, and she's holding a sword that looks too unwieldy for her. A 24-year veteran, pronouns she, her, hers. Okay. A 24-year veteran in the tabletop gaming industry, Eliza Teague has worked on over 100 published cards and board games written for various RPGs, including Dungeons & Dragons, Marvel Multiverse, Welcome to Night Vale, The Cracked Moon, Gloomhaven, Amarian Knights, Wordlings, Kids on Bikes, and many more. So that is, if you say I'm a 24-year veteran of the tabletop gaming industry, this started in 2001, right? Okay, that can mean almost anything. Now, if you say I've worked on over 100 different games, if you've worked on over 100 different games and I don't immediately recognize your name, you're probably useless, right? Like, if you worked on 100 different games, I should know your name, right? And if almost all of those RPGs or games that you mentioned are games I do not recognize, the only ones I recognize there were obviously Dungeons & Dragons, Marvel Multiverse, and Kids on Bikes, only because it's such a terrible game. But that's it. So, that's pretty sad. Like, it means like, what were you? Were you like the coffee boy or something? Eliza was previously senior producer of role-playing games at Renegade Games Studios, where she wrote and produced RPG books for the Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, and Transformers, as well as Vampire the Masquerade and World of Darkness. All of those were terrible, apparently, right? Like Renegade Game Studios is part of it's where what was left of the World of Darkness crawled to die, right? Known for social intrigue, mystery plots, and puzzles in her writings, she chose the chapter on how to use puzzles in your game for D&D's Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. This is just getting worse and worse, right? Like, no, sorry, you are not known for any of those things because no one knows who you are, woman. Was lead designer of board games at Geek Outs, Kingdom Hearts Talisman, House on the Hill, Widow's Walk, and co-designer and art director of Apocrypha Adventure Carrier. I would bet hard money. Now, listen, I have worked on a couple of major, corporate products, specifically 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons and Doctor Who, right? Both of those are well-known products. They're both highly successful products, by the way, that I had a major influence on making successful, right? In D&D, in terms of their overall planning and structure, right? Like what was this game meant to be for? How is it meant to work? And being a huge champion of you might not all like this, but of the advantage and disadvantage mechanic as a kind of killer app that would allow casuals to play better. And in the Doctor Who RPG, I was literally the guy that invented the initiative system and that got them to change the basic mechanic from what they were planning to do to what it eventually became, right? And so I think those are both very influential things, right? But that aside, she's obviously worked mostly in corporate RPG design, right? She apparently is not a self-producing designer, right? She's a corporate employee. But she claims to have all of this, reputation, right? I would bet hard money that if there was a poll that was done by a reputable company asking gamers, which of these two people, if any, do you recognize, right? Whose name you recognize, right? The RPG Pundit, or what's her name again? Eliza Teague. I would probably wipe the floor with her, right? There's going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter if I like them or not. It's just, do I know who this is, right? That's it. So between the people that despise me and between the OSR, I am quite convinced that I would end up winning that contest. I would be the one that would be better recognized than her. The third participant, and this is interesting, actually, is not a human being. The third participant is Drive-Thru RPG, by which I presume it means that there's going to be some kind of a representative of Drive-Thru-RPG there that's going to help people learn how to like publish on Drive-Thru-RPG. And that in itself is not a bad idea at all, right? Like that's so far the only thing that might be actually helpful out of any of the people that we mentioned there, right? Yeah, it's about as hopeful as it gets. The last participant is also not a human being. It's something called Start Playing Games that I have never heard of myself. Have any of you heard of that? So apparently Start Playing Games is the largest online platform, proof not noted, for players to find tabletop RPGs and professional GMs for any game system and any virtual tabletop. Are you looking to play D&D online or find a virtual Pathfinder 2e group? We're part D&D group finder and part games finder. Our professional dungeon masters and game masters are running games all over the world. Find a game that works for you and your schedule. So this is, Jesus Christ, this is OnlyFans for D&D players that can't find a group. Holy crap. Like literally, I'm looking at this page here, and it's like showing upcoming games. 2 seats needed to start. Winter of the Atom, Fallout. Weekly session Monday, $15 per session. 0 out of 6 seats filled. Will of the Spirits for Daggerheart, as Condor DM would say. $22.50 a session. 4 out of 6 seats filled, 1 session only. Okay. Weekly Mondays. 4 needed to start. From Prisoner to Liberator, the Crystal Shards for D&D 5e. $15 per session, 0 out of 6 seats filled. This is just sad. Oh my God. I never realized this thing existed. I might have to do a whole video about this. It is hilarious. It's like, you know, people go like, you know, like some guy is like paying money to some slut to you know, show her in the bath or something like that, you know, to do a little video where she does a little erotic dance as a cosplay character or something, and then there's some poor bastard paying $15 to play a bad session of Daggerheart. I swear to God, I didn't check this beforehand. I had no idea that that's what this is. So clearly, once you've paid, I'm sorry. Once you've paid the $2,250, you can earn it all back by becoming D&D versions of an OnlyFans cam girl. Come play my game, baby. I can't believe it. Oh, this has killed me. I'm dead. Oh my God. Oh, that is the secret thing. I haven't seen any of the other videos people have made about this, but if I'm the one that's discovered this, holy shit. Please tell me if you've seen any of the other videos people have done about this, and if any of them have realized what this Start Playing Games is. Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh, it's oh, okay. I'm gonna be okay. Oh, these people. I cannot believe the grifting and it's just reached a level that is beyond my comprehension. So there you are. There's the whole cycle of becoming a professional dungeon master. You start, I'm a really good DM. I should get paid for this, damn it. And then you're like going to try to like get a corporate gig or teaching at a school or something, and nobody's interested. And then you like try to convince people by like putting up some web page, you know, with you like professional game master, right? Nobody wants to pay you. And then you decide to take this course, you invest money thinking this is going to get me somewhere. And the next thing you know, you're in your bathtub trying to run D&D for people. Then you can sell the water, of course, you know. It's just unbelievable. Oh my God. Oh, holy shit. Let me see what if I've missed anything during my bit. Hey, Pundit and all. Hi, guys. To those of you who are late, I was around 41 right now. Well, you got here at a good time if you caught me talking about just playing games or whatever, play tabletop games or whatever it's called. Let me see here. It's amusing how many unemployed paid DM gems there are. Well, there you go. That's why you go to start playing games and you become a professional cam DM for people. I was raised a poor orc child. Ponzi schemes. Yeah, it's like some kind of like a version of like timeshare sales for like, you know, Ponzi scheme hotels or something. Josh Pierce says, "Oh man, speaking as a GM, I can only say nobody needs to see that." 30 years ago, the ad for that would have been on the back cover of comic books along with sea monkeys. I was raised a poor child says, "Was there a safe word?" Do you know the S Knight says history is in the making? I don't think I've ever seen pundits so ineffective. Yeah, well, the problem is usually I look at like something like the thing I'm looking at might be something ridiculous, and I laugh like crazy when I see it. And then when I do the video, I know what's coming. So I like this. This is you caught me in an unexpected moment, right? Because I looked through the page of D&D in a castle, but I didn't bother to look directly at the D&D of the professional professors of Dungeon Master University's biographies, which I did live right now, right? And then I definitely didn't bother to check what was whatever the hell it was called, the what is it, play table, startplaying.games, right? I thought it was something. I thought it was some aid to like game designers or to people who want to live stream or something like that, right? I had no idea that it was going to be OnlyFans for cheap professional DMs. My mind is blown. I can't believe it. It's crazy. They should have called it Only Games. You're right, Overkill Joe. The problem is these people don't want to realize that they're basically literally now they are cam whores if they do this, right? Cam whores. Domino is still, she slept right through my laughing fit. She's very good about that.